segment you guys have known to come and love. Only three more of these, and then we are all done, which is a little bit crazy to say. That is our mocked draft uh, episode segment, and we are ready to go whenever you are. I think this is mock draft number four.
Number 4.
Number four. I cannot remember who went first last week.
Me neither, to be honest.
I think you went.
I had 3. I know I had
So you
3,
went
so
first. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm gonna. So
Yes.
it is. We'll do you.
Guys, I wonder where I'm going with this pick. Uh, Cam Ward. I just sound like a broken record at this point. Again, everything you guys have heard. Again, over the last couple weeks, they've done everything to at least try to create a good supporting cast around a quarterback. That last piece is getting their quarterback. So you take the best guy at that position at number one in Cam Ward.
Yeah, number 2. I think the writing is getting close to being on the wall. I think this is gonna be Abdul Carter, number 1 player for me out of Penn State. You put a formidable pass rushing duo of him and Miles Garrett next to each other. Miles just gets the big extension. Abdul Carter on a rookie extension. Like, we looked at what the Browns could do with, Joe Flacco and the number 1 defense a few years ago, like not even 2 years ago, and they were a playoff team and almost won their division. What if getting a guy like Abdul Carter just dropped right in there, can just rejuvenate A, Miles Garrett, and B, the entire defense, the secondary. So I think this is going to be the pick, and so make it now.
There you go. Again, no pushback there. Um, this is hard because it really is between the two Colorado guys at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go with Travis Hunter or do you go with the quarterback? I really do think they love Shedeur Sanders at this point. It seems like that's been how it's been since the Seniors Shrine Bowl. They've met with him quite often. Some fun clips of him coming out saying he's going to play in the NFC East, which is obviously would allude to him being a Giant. So that is why I'm going to go with Shedeur Sanders at this pick, as much as it hurts me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just what a what an overhaul of your quarterback room. Going and getting Jameis Winston, then Russell Wilson, and now Shedeur Sanders in the top 3. What an overhaul. Save the job, Joe Shane. I hope you do. And the Patriots are cackling. They are cackling because they just got maybe their number 1 player on the board at number 4 in Travis Hunter. Listen, whatever you want Travis Hunter to play. I'll probably mention him. I know I did a write-up on him for receiver, but I'm definitely going to do one at corner because I think there's a true possibility he's either one. He's that good. You could put him at receiver next to Stephon Diggs, who they just signed, and he could be he's so twitchy off the ball as a receiver. I want to see it happen so bad. But again, he has true mirror ability as a corner, and he's just a unique athlete that I think he's gonna be put there.
Yes. This is the best case scenario for the Patriots. Being able to pick between Travis Hunter or your choice of offensive lineman. You really can't go wrong at this point in the draft with the way the board had fallen.
I'll say this. I think the hardest decision you're making with number 4, if that's the board, is what position is Travis Hunter going to play at that point. I'm that confident in them taking that guy at 4.
Absolutely. Chalk here over the last couple of weeks of us doing this has either been Tet or Mason Graham. Right, I'm gonna get a little funky here. We're gonna make a pick we haven't made before, and I have not seen it. I wouldn't be shocked if it has been made before, but I have not seen it personally. Could you name the starting tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars now that Evan Ingram is gone?
Starting tight end, Brenton Strange, Penn State.
Yeah, it's Brenton Strange, and Brenton Strange is fun. I have no issues with Bretton Strange. But if we are trying to surround our young quarterback with good pass catchers, Bretton Strange probably does not fit that bill. And you already have your wide receiver one, or at least what seems to be their wide receiver one, in Brian Thomas Jr. So go out and fill a position of need. Go out and fill a position of need and get Tyler Warren. I've not seen this pick. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I haven't seen this pick, but yeah, Tyler Warren.
I love it, man. I mean, this is the experiment phase. I mean, this is to have fun, and I think Tyler Warren is going to be well worth like a top 12, 13-ish pick. Your logic is sound. I mean, yeah, maybe it's not a valuable position enough, but we saw Kyle Pitts go this high, and we've seen T.J. Hawkinson with the same model build as Tyler Warren go as I think he went 8. So absolutely, I think Tyler Warren could be in play here. I think this is his absolute ceiling, but he could be well worth in play. Yes. And I think the Raiders are pretty easily logging in Teteroa McMillan. Like, as much as I want to play into, like, again, talking about Daniel Jeremiah, where he had Teteroa McMillan as his wide receiver 4, if you include Travis Hunter, which I just think it's too low for me. And I still think this is a top 10 player. I still think his traits are so desirable as an X receiver in the NFL that I want to take him. And there's, again, I feel like we've made this pick before, but again, like, nothing on the Raiders is stopping you from taking Teteroa McMillan.
Absolutely not. Overthinking Teteroa McMillan. We've said it numerous times. I'm going to continue to try to pound that home. He for me is, I think, I don't want to say clearly, but is definitively the best wide receiver in the class for me. I understand why people like Matthew Golden, especially with the time and the after catch upside that Luther Burden offers. But there are not many guys with the size that can move as well as Tet does in this league. So, for me, Jets, we're going to continue to build up an offensive line. The big reason that the Justin Fields experiment failed in Chicago because he just did not have a good offensive line. And they drafted Olu last year, so they're certified. They're fine through left tackle. Go out and get your right tackle now. And there's a guy staring at you in the face. I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out here. In Armand Membu, who played pretty much almost strictly at right tackle through his entire career in college. Again, continue to try to build. An offensive line for Justin Fields and hope that experiment works for him.
I love it. I mean, you throw out 2 athletic freaks at tackle in Fashanu and Membu, and you tell them to figure it out. I think they have the skills to do so. I think you made this one easy for me once again with like the Teteroa McMillan and even the Patriots. I mean, this is Mason Graham. This is the number 1 defensive lineman in the class. You pair him next to Derek Brown, you get star power along the defensive line. And I think that's all Carolina is looking for at number 8, just getting a star-packed player. And Mason Graham is definitely that. So just sprint the card in at 8.
Yes, absolutely. They need help everywhere along the defensive side of the ball. And Mason Graham is clearly a prospect at that point in the draft. As far as the Saints, so I've been really interested in the Saints. After further conversations me and you have had, they could really go anywhere that they want in this draft class. Jackson Dart, maybe? But no, there's really not anywhere in this class. Any position in this class, I could see them not wanting at this point. So I've been looking at a lot of drafts. Given I don't know if Will Campbell is there, but a pick that I like and see often, and you can tell me I'm outright wrong, and I can take Will Campbell if you hate the pick that I'm about to make. But that's Will Johnson. You guys lost you lost obviously Marshawn, and then Paulson Adebo left as well. So you need help on the outside at the quarterback position, and Will Johnson is the best one here in the draft.
I think again it continues to overload your Brandon Staley philosophy of bringing in the new quarters look, bringing in Justin Reed as your true safety. I think it continues to just do right by your defensive coordinator and bring in a true outside corner. It gives you that the benefit of oversaturation in the corner room, I think. So yeah, I think early in the process I was really sold on a Will Johnson, but as we get closer and closer and like in the realization of the players that would be on the board, I'm not as sold as I once was on Will Johnson. But again, like, I think I've told you this multiple times, and I probably have said it here, is like the Saints should be in the interest of getting good players first, and you worry about the position later because that's where they're at. They just need good darn players to play on Sundays consistently at a cheap figure relative to what their value is, and I think Will Johnson could be that. So yeah, I absolutely don't hate the pick. Number 10, the Bears. Again, like, this is a dream for Chicago. You get maybe one of the better left tackles, if not the best left tackle, falling to you at 10, and you get a dynamic playmaker in Ashton Jeanty falling to you at 10, and it's just an oversaturation of riches. Like, what are we going to do? I think I would probably prefer Campbell here, just by a hair, because I think Jeanty is just too easy. But yeah, I'm going to take Will Campbell.
How funny would it be to just be like, oh, they have Christian McCaffrey. Well, he's hurt, so let's just get him Ashton Jeanty right here. Very unique scenario. Most of the time, there's an offensive lineman that I really like for the Niners here, but the way the board has fallen, I'm not going to reach on one of them. Again, that Will Campbell pick was very good. Continue to build good offensive line. As we talked about, that's the reason Justin Fields didn't work out. For me, it goes to edge rusher, right? And I'm really stuck between Mike Green at this point and Shamar Stewart at this point. Because Shamar Stewart, for me, is the better prospect. I have him ranked higher. Mm-hmm. But Mike Green seems more of a Kyle Shanahan guy. And he seems to, at least in my head, fit a little bit more, especially into that solid defense. I could be 100% wrong, but they drafted Will McDonald a couple years ago because they love these pass rushing demons, and that's exactly what Mike Green is. For that reason, it hurts. Usually you want to take the best player available, but I think Mike Green just fits what they're looking for more out of these edge rusher positions. That is why I'm going the Mike Green route.
Yeah, I mean, any edge rusher they put on the outside or the opposite side of Nick Bosa, I think is going to catch a lot of one-on-ones. And if you can win those one-on-ones, you're going to be a productive pick. The Cowboys, I mean, this is Jeanty. Like, I feel like it's an easy pick. I feel like a lot of people make it because it's easy. Like, they need a running back. Who did they band-aided it with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Again, those players don't stop you from getting Ashton Jeanty. But I always think back to, like, 1 year with Jerry. Like, this is kind of rambling, but there was a year 2014 when he could have taken Manziel and instead took the tackle from Notre Dame, who kicked inside to guard and ended up being Zach Martin. So this could be one of those choreographed picks. Like, what if Jeanty makes it to 12 and Jerry takes a boring pick and it ends up being Jahad Campbell? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's a linebacker, blah, blah, blah. And it's a guy as talented as him. I would be fascinated. For the sake of this, I'm just gonna take Ashton Genty. I think it's easy and it's right there. And I don't know if we've done it because of how much we enjoy Ashton Genty. So he's always gone before this pick, frankly. But yeah, I think they should be in the business
Yeah.
of getting offensive playmakers first and foremost on rookie contracts. So Genty it is.
Yes, absolutely. This pick seems, as you said, almost too obvious to the point that I wouldn't be completely shocked if they just said, we're going to go a different direction. But it, again, just makes too much sense with the guys that they have there in the backfield and the need to just get skill position players. So uh, Dolphins at 13. This is tough because I feel like this is where a little bit of the repetitiveness starts to come into play. What does a tackle board look like right now? I don't know if there's a tackle I want to take. I just want to see what it looks like. Yeah, we'll go Josh Simmons. I completely forgot about Josh Simmons at this point. Again, it's the easy one. I think we've said it numerous times. A very good tackle, just wasn't able to put a full season together due to injury. But what we saw out of him, he projects very well to be a very good bookend tackle.
Yeah, I mean he could. Well, he's gonna step in and have to play because I mean Teron Armstead is the starter right now, so he better bring his cleats every game day because there's gonna be a time Josh Simmons has to go in the game. But the Colts,
Yes.
I think this is kind of just value meeting. I think we're just too late on Shamar Stewart, so I'm gonna take him. Like that's pretty easily. You put him next to Buckner. That you have Kwity Paye. You took Laiatu Latu. You're just double dipping because I think the value is too much. And again, I think you're putting kind of pressure on Lou Anarumo to perform with him right away. And I know Lou Anarumo doesn't have a track record of development, but I think Chris Ballard, in a real prove it year, needs to get a standout player. And I think Shamar Stewart does that.
Yes, you stole that pick right out underneath me. That's exactly who I would have taken here at 15. It really complicates things for me. For those who had listened to the edge rush rankings, I'm not as high on a James Pierce. Oh, okay. Well, there's Walter Nolan right there, so we're actually all right. I was like, I almost got spicy with it and said Luther Burden, but Walter Nolan's right there.
Whoa,
I'm not going to
Luther Burden
overcomplicate the
would have been
pick.
awesome.
That would have been fun, but I'm not going to complicate the pick. Again, they need the pass rush. Grady Jarrett just left. There's not an end that I really like here at this position at this point in the draft, and I really do like Walter Nolan.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Ooh, I think this one. Do I look at the D line? Do I think of do I take Derek Harmon just to fill the skill set because it's such a need for them. I think the corner market is kind of yeah. I mean, you could take Jahdae Barron, but you're gonna play him on the outside where I kind of see him as more of a nickel guy than a true boundary every down boundary player. And you already have Garrett Williams. I think it's, again, I talked him up. I think it's Jahad Campbell here. Again, just keep reloading that defense with talented players. And Jahad Campbell is a very, very talented player and gives you just, like I said in the linebacker show, he had a 14% rate of lining up over or outside the tackle. So lining up as an edge rusher, Jahad Campbell did it 14% of the time, which is staggering rate for an off-ball linebacker, but he did it. So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love that pick. And they kind of have a history of doing that, given under different GMs, but they kind of love to get those off-ball linebackers that can really rush the passer.
Watching Austin Fort now, who's the GM of the Card. He is all about value, and I think Jahad Campbell at this point classifies as a value. If he needs to take a valuable position, go ahead. But there's no more valuable pick for me than John Campbell at this point.
No, absolutely. For the Bengals, it really comes down to what edge slash defensive player suits your fancy here. There were hopes that maybe they could find a middle ground with Trey, but that seems to not be the case with the reports coming out that they're very far apart. They kind of pulled a Jerry Jones on him and didn't really want to involve his agent, which is just never a good sign. So we're going to go with edge. I'm debating if I go with the board or if I go with my best player.
You got to go with yours.
I mean, if we're going with mine, it's going to be Donovan Ezraku. Again, if you've listened to the podcast, you would not be surprised with Donovan Ezraku here at this pick. A lot of people could be thrown off saying, whoa, it's way higher. I usually see him going to Detroit or the Eagles or something. But again, he is just an absolute demon on the pass rush. Again, he has a little bit of a ways to develop in the run game, but he rushes the passer like no other.
Yeah, Seattle again, it's always hard to like project because it's like we know going in they really need a guard. And well, they aren't going to take a guard because John Schneider does not take those like lower value positions in the first round. He takes, premium stuff. So again, if I'm kind of playing the board, I'm looking at Pierce, but again, we're going to read into the stuff with Pierce. I'm going to take Mykel Williams out of Georgia, who would be my next best edge rusher. I think he's an instant walking in the door run fit plus, a run defender plus. He again has the body type that you desire in the Mike McDonald system. So overall, it's taking a value position at a premium school and hope for development.
Yeah, no, that made my pick very, very easy here. Love the pick. I do understand the character concerns there with James Pierce. But James Pierce would be a lot of fun in Tampa Bay. And that's going to be the pick here. Again, they're going to continue to build along that defensive line and create maybe one of the best defensive lines in the entire league here with that pick. It'd be so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, I'd hate it, man. Then we get to the Broncos. This is burden for me. Like, I think the running back is fascinating, but again, like it's for me. Am I taking Johnson? I don't think Sean Payton would take Caleb Johnson. I could be wrong easily, but I think he would be more excited getting a guy like Luther Burden in the door at 20 than Caleb Johnson.
Yes, absolutely. I think. And again, they already have kind of the bigger body to X wide receiver with Cortland Sutton. So Luther Burden would complement him very well. All right. Do we go Jackson Dart? Here? Like, if I'm being 100% honest, a lot of rumors about Aaron Rodgers and that stuff is starting to pick up at this point. Tomlin came out and said he was fine with Mason at quarterback. He is comfortable with it, which is just the biggest heaping load of BS I've ever heard my entire life. Yeah, we're going to go Jackson Dart here. I think it'll be fun. Even if they sign Aaron Rodgers, I could still see Jackson Dart sitting behind him coming in the next year or when Aaron Rodgers inevitably gets injured.
Oh, that physically hurt me clicking that.
No, I don't like it. I don't, to be frank, I am not a Jackson Dart in the first round guy. This is kind of just more of a predictive. They have a need at the position. It hasn't been filled. scouts really do love Jackson Dart. So I'm not the biggest fan of the selection, but it just made a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I totally get it because you're still waiting on Rodgers. There's a world where you swing and miss on Rodgers. Say he retires. Say Minnesota changes their mind and they want to go after him. Like you're stuck, and you can't go up and get Shador because he's taken at 3. It's too far of a drop for any team to come down, and you're just left with the scraps at the table. And sadly, that's Jackson Dart. But I'm just very fascinated to see how these quarterbacks come off the board because you and I agree, and so many smart people agree, that Dart and Shador just they aren't top 5 picks. They aren't even like top 15 picks. But because of the position, they have to go. And then 2022 happens and only Kenny Pickett goes at around this big, ironically enough, to the Steelers, and not a single one goes in again in the top 70. So I want to see how these guys get drafted personally. Then the Chargers, this sounds easy. Matthew Golden. I think you need juice in the receiver room. I think they re-signed Mike Williams. Other than that, I think it's still Ladd. Just continue to try and get cheap hits at receiver while your quarterback is making a ton of money, and just continue to add to that development of being able to create explosives downfield. And I think Matthew Golden, of the players on the board, gives you that best opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Again, there's a lot of need, even if you think QJ can make that jump, which he hasn't really shown. He looked fine in the second year, but QJ is not stopping you from taking Golden at this point. So, the Packers. I wanted to go Matthew Golden here. A lot of Packers fans and writers seem to think that they are A-OK with Carrington Valentine's, Kamal Hayden, Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs at the cornerback position. So this is tough. I wouldn't be shocked if, in actuality, we see them try to trade out of this pick. But it comes down to suitors and all of that stuff. And we're not doing trades, so I won't. Do you mind popping over to the offensive tackle?
Yeah.
And seeing what offensive tackle looks like for me. Because Rashawn is not stopping me from taking an offensive tackle at this point. He was a 7th round pick just a couple of years ago. Or Rasheed Walker. He played fine, but he's not amazing. There's not a corner or wide receiver that I really want for them. Oh, gosh. I mean, Jahdae Barron would make sense if Jair Alexander is gone. Yeah, we'll go Jahad Barron. Sorry. At this point, it's just value. He shouldn't be on the board. I honestly forgot about him. I thought he was taken earlier. That's why I was a little shocked that he made it to 23. That's the clear and obvious pick, I think. Even if they are comfortable with a Carrington Valentine's, Nate Hobb, Keyshawn Nixon mix, which I don't know why they would, but yes.
No, I agree with you. I think that, I mean, Jahdae is tough because it's like, it's the same way I loved McDuffie a few years ago. Like, I think he's just going to be nickel exclusive right off the bat. You're going to have to earn the chops to play boundary. And again, like, those guys are just hard to find, position, like, drafted homes for. And like, I agree with you. Jahdae Barron being there at 23 feels wrong, especially as a Texas guy, but it's just the nature of the draft and the value of the positions. But the Vikings, they're interesting because I think they were hoping for Jahdae Barron. I'll be honest with you. Jalen Walker would be fascinating in a Brian Flores defense. You could, dip into the edge rusher market, but you just took Dallas Turner. It's just like you look at the picks for them, and it's like, oh, we get the comp pick from I think Kirk, and then it's just dry. So they really need to make this pick count.
Yeah.
And I think they filled out the line pretty well. I think you could get a wide receiver 3 in Igbuka. You could get an man, this one is tough. I think I'm just gonna play to the board and
It's
take
hard.
and play and take Starks, and because he has the nickel stuff to him. Um, but yeah, I think after the corners kind of go, I feel like I'm reaching on a position for Minnesota because the way they filled out their trenches in free agency, that like I'm not sitting here as we were a few months ago going like Kenneth Grant, just put in Kenneth Grant, just put in Gray Zabel, put in Derek Harmon. Now like it's filled out and this is Super Bowl time, so it's interesting.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they're a tough team to pick for because there's not a super glaring need for them. And when you're in that position, why not take the best player that's on the board? Um, for the Texans, could you go to interior offensive line? Oh, I don't like it. Willie Lampkey at 130 is ridiculous, by the way.
Is
I
he
love
really
him, but that's crazy.
the
Yeah,
fullback?
he's 130 for him. No. um, I cringed when you mentioned wide receiver for the Vikings because it is a need for them with the way Tank Dell had gotten hurt. Uh, there's not really an offensive line here that really stands out to me that I feel the need to pick. So just go out, get CJ another weapon. There's a very safe, high floor guy here in Emeka Ibuka. Go ahead, pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I think I did this last week, but it just again makes too much sense that we just keep doing it. Agbuka with Stroud, one of his more productive
Oh,
seasons
you
as
did
a
do it last
as a
week.
collegiate player. But yeah, I mean, again, I think like we're at a point where it's like it's late in the draft. We're all kind of slurry. Like this is Loveland. I think I've done this before. I don't care if I've done it. McVay was so going to get Brock Bowers last year. Like that was so close to being done. Just remember that last year, them going up to I think it was the Penix pick. I think it was 8 to go get Brock Bowers. They don't get him, and
Mm-hmm.
now you get to drop another guy who compares a lot to Brock Bowers as a receiver at tight end in Loveland. Now he falls to 26. I would not be surprised. I probably said in the last time we did this. I would not be surprised if the Rams just go up to 21 with the Steelers to go get Colston Loveland just to make sure because Warren goes at 5. It's hard to project where the tight ends go if a guy goes at 5.
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, I was hoping he was going to make it all the way down to 29 for me. That would have been a dream pick at 29. But yeah, he values that position. Again, as you said, he tried to get Brock Bowers. It makes a lot of sense for them. Um, the Ravens. There's not really an edge rusher at this point in the draft. All of them have really been picked through. Uh, guard. You know what? Gray Zabel's still here. Might as well pair Gray Zabel up with Tyler Lindenbaum and just really make a fun interior of that offensive line. It's a position of need. Gray Zabel should be a first round pick, but I would not at all be shocked if he was not.
Take Tate Ratledge with one of your comp picks, and we have a deal. But the Lions. Lions. I mean, it's edge or like they have receiver on here as a need. I don't know about that one, but overall, like Jalen Walker would be fascinating. I think Derek Harmon. They re-signed Levi Uzurike. They have Aleem McNeil, so interior D line isn't really a must. I don't think they have any like lineman problems. Like yeah, they lost Kevin Zeitler, so there's a world where you need an interior like a Tyler Booker to just drop in for the playoff run. But again, I think there's guards you can get later in the draft. I think like again,
It's tough.
this one is tough. This one is tough because the edges go. You know, I feel like the lines are always set in a place where the edges stay. I think I'm still gonna take like I'm gonna defer to the board and still take Scorton here, and hope that him on the opposite side of Hutchinson, who seemingly is gonna come back, kind of adds productivity to him. But again, I think that a playoff team who is vying for a Super Bowl is just going to keep drafting these edges, hoping they get it right one of these times.
Yes, as you said, they're just a hard team to pick for, and when in doubt, just go for the best edge available for them at this point. Good pick. As I said, I was really hoping for Loveland to make it all the way down to 29. That would have been just an absolute dream. But they have went out. They've gotten pieces on the offense. I think we can kind of let the offense now take just a step back. Martin Hampton is a pick we've done. It's a good running back class. I don't think they need to take him at 29 at this point. They need help at cornerback. And I'm going to take my cornerback 3 in yes, Jalen Walker. I'm going to take my cornerback 3. Yeah. In Savone Ravel. Again, he's a tradesy guy. They tried to make the swing for Emmanuel Forbes. Obviously, that crashed and burned in just an awful way. And you're just going to bet on another tradesy guy, and you hope that Dan Quinn can really develop him and maybe turn him into a Trayvon Diggs-esque player.
Yeah, and Buffalo says, give me Derek Carman and let me escape Green Bay, which is where the draft is held. I think if this team can just sit at 30 and get one of Derek Harmon, Kenneth Grant, Tyleik Williams, I think they're leaving happy the first day. I just think they need size along the interior on the defensive line. Just continue, like, again, Buffalo is just like, it's become boring for them, but it's the same thing. What can we keep tooling to make this Super Bowl run a reality? And so I think getting a penetrator and just with size and length is valuable to put a next to Ed Oliver, not against.
Yes, absolutely. Again, you leave with one of the defensive tackles, and you're happy with it. So, we made the tackle pick a lot here. And I don't know if I want to do that again. That being said, there's a guy that I had mentioned at 29 for the Commanders. And wouldn't it be fun to just continue to add weapons around Pat Mahomes and, again, just continue to lean into that really, really potent offense? I love Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco is really, really fun. But is Isaiah Pacheco stopping you from taking Amari Hampton here? I don't think so. I think Amari Hampton is an absolute game changer. And Isaiah Pacheco has shown the inability to stay healthy. I would be really upset with this pick. I wouldn't want this pick because I would really want to be rooting for him. But I think Chiefs fans would be really, really happy to see that. And again, I think that he would really add a dimension into that offense that they don't have.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Eagles, I mean, they just go to their pipeline. Did they just take Jalen Walker and just figure it out? I mean, they just keep going to their pipeline. No, but like I think I'm gonna zag a little bit. I feel like I probably haven't done this before, but I'm gonna have him take Connerly as like a developmental path after Lane Johnson and maybe just a swing tackle, because again, like the Eagles are an embarrassment of riches at this point. Like receiver is their biggest need, and it would be receiver 3. Like I don't know where to go
Could
with this pick and be smart.
could I
What were
make a
you gonna say?
suggestion?
Yeah.
A pick that has heavily been linked to them, and it's along the same vein that you were saying with the offensive line. A guy that they had actually brought in for a top 30 visit, um, Donovan Jackson, has it been a guy that Howie
Mm.
seems to love. Again, he did a top 30 visit. They really, really like Donovan Jackson. Rumors has it that they really like his ability to step in and be a guard right away,
Mm-hmm.
or kick out and be a swing tackle if needed. And again, they really value. I mean, what team doesn't value their top 30 visits? But that is a team that really does value. But that would be my suggestion. But I'd totally be okay with Josh as well.
No, you sold me. Given that, because with the lane extension, it's hard to imagine Connerly getting on the field because he is so slender. Like he's not going to beef up and play guard. Where Jackson, like you said, has the multiple snaps at guard for multiple years. So yeah, I think this makes a ton of sense. Kind of just put it in there, but yeah, again, like the Eagles are tough because I don't know what to do with them.
Neither do I. And I'm the Eagles fan.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mock draft 4.0.
Yep,
Uh,
4.0, no trades.
no trades. We'll have to start doing that here because there's two more guaranteed mock drafts that you guys will have that Wednesday before the draft. Kind of letting you guys in the kitchen here. That Wednesday before the draft, we're toying with maybe we do it. If we do it, it would definitely probably just be a mock draft episode. But kind of toying with the idea of do we have an episode out that day or not. But you only get two more guaranteed from us at least. From that, it was a lot of fun. And again, I like that we continue to mix in picks that we have not made already because it
Yeah,
can very easily become kind of repetitive.
that's what we got to do. We just got. I feel, and that's the thing too, is you and I are kind of together filling out our collective boards with players. I don't want to feel like I'm just picking based on who's ranked on the PFF. I'm really taking the guy who I want to take here, and I think we did that multiple times, which is impressive here, especially at 21. Especially at 21. But no, overall, this was just. It's always fun to do mock drafts. I always have fun doing mock drafts. But last thing I say before I go, make sure you check out the TikTok this week. I have some things planned for the TikTok. The Pigskin Project. Is it the whole podcast name or is it Pigskin Pod? I can't remember. But
I
yeah,
think
it
it's
is the
the
Pigskin
Pigskin
Project. Stay
Project.
tuned to
Yeah.
that. Yeah, stay tuned to that TikTok. It's in the all YouTube videos, so if you have trouble finding it, just go to those links. But yeah, stay tuned. I have some stuff planned for there, and I want to start utilizing it more.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. As always,